All right, now let's see how we can read input from the console. So you have learned that cout represents the standard output string. Now in this file, in iostream, we have another object called cin, which represents the standard input stream, which we can use for reading data from the console. Let me show you how. First, we're going to use cout to print a label on the screen. So enter a value. Now using cin, we can read that value and put it in a variable. But first we need to declare a variable. So let's declare an integer called value. Then we use cin along with the stream extraction operator to read that value and put it in this variable. Okay? So this is called the stream extraction operator. It's the opposite of stream insertion operator. I know it can be confusing, but the easiest way to remember this is to think of the direction of data flow. So in this case, we are reading data from the console or the standard input and putting it into this variable. In contrast with cout, we're basically getting this sequence of characters and putting them into the console. So this is the way to remember this, okay? Now, to verify that our program works, let's print the value that we just read. So let's run our program, enter a value, let's say 10, and we get 10 in the output. Beautiful. Now, what if we enter a floating point number, a number with a decimal point? Let's see. So this time I'm going to enter 10.1. The decimal part is gone because we declared this value as an integer. So if you want to read a floating point number, here we have to use the double type. Take a look. So one more time, 10.5. Now we get 10.5. Beautiful. Now, we can also read multiple values. So let's change this label to enter values for x and y. Now, let's declare two variables called x and y. First, we read x, and then we read y. And finally, we can print x plus y. This is like a simple calculator. So take a look. We can enter 10 and 20, and the result is 30. Now we can also separate these numbers using a space, and the program will still work. Take a look. So one more time, 10 space. It doesn't matter one or more spaces. We add the second number, and we get the same result, okay? Now, similar to cout, here we can chain these statements together. So we can get rid of the second statement and chain the stream extraction operator to read the second value. So look, we start from the console, we read something and put it in X, then we read something else and put it in Y. It's exactly like before, but our code is shorter. So this is how we can read input from the console. Now, as your exercise, I want you to write a program for converting temperatures from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So when you run your program, the program should ask the user to enter a temperature in Fahrenheit, and then it should convert it to Celsius and print it on the terminal. So pause the video and spend a few minutes on this, then come back see my solution. All right, here's the solution. It's pretty easy. First, we use cout to print a label like Fahrenheit. Then we declare a variable for storing the temperature in Fahrenheit. Next, using cin, we read that value and put it in this variable. Then we declare a variable of type double called Celsius. The reason I'm using a double here is because the conversion might result in a floating point number. So here's the formula. Fahrenheit minus 32. We wrap this in parentheses and then divide it by 1.8. Now finally, using cout, we print the temperature in Celsius. Now let's test our program. So 90 in Fahrenheit is equivalent to 32.2 in Celsius.